Hi guys, so today we're going to talk about what is a botnet. So really, it's going to be a short video, I hope so. I lean around the 5 minutes mark. A botnet is really just a collection of infected computers that can be controlled from another computer. That is really the explanation of what a botnet is. But when you ask the question, what is a botnet really? Because please understand the question. If you say what is a botnet, what is a car? It's something you drive on in something with wheels. Yeah, okay. But what is a car really? Okay, so you want to know more than just what a botnet is. What is it really? Okay. What a botnet really is of course an infected amount of computers. How do they get infected? Now that is a whole other video, but the short explanation would be some way, for example, through a phishing email, through software that is already infected with some sort of malware. You double click, you install it, you get unintentionally infected. Of course, some computers might be intentionally infected by crowd going out there and plugging in USB sticks, something like that. But that is, on the vague end. The more normal end is someone unintentionally click install something, and then it gets installed on your computer, and then boom, you're infected. Now, the kind of software is what you call a peer-to-peer kind of software that can communicate with some sort of control center, also commonly known as the hackers, or a command and control server, which is another term I'll get back to just in a few minutes. So when the computer then is infected, then it's gonna call home and say, hey, I'm infected now, I'm a idle zombie PC. Now it's some call it zombie, that is just for the slow, like so they're not really doing anything, right? So until they get an order or an instruction, whatever we're gonna call it, it's gonna be like idle or stalling or not doing anything, hiding itself. Sometimes the virus program gonna catch it, other times it does not, because not all people have virus program installed. And sometimes, whenever it runs as a process in the background, or just with a part of a software, something like that, doesn't mean that its signature on the system can be detected by your most popular installed virus scanner, because the virus scanner is no better than the vendors creating the signature detection in the memory or the hard disk, depending on different files, depending on registrations in the registration database. If there's anything like that, names of files, locations, special sizes, and everything, file headers can be detected. So, what is a botnet really? So there are two different kinds of botnets I'm going to talk about. The first one is called centralized, and the other one is called decentralized. Now, I'm not gonna, take ownership of the images, so please kudos to salad.com or the guy here at crowdstrike.com. I'm basically just using the guy's, I don't know if it's a guy, but the person's website. And the very first I'm going to talk about is basically this. I couldn't do it better. It's a beautiful image, so thank you for letting me use it, I guess. Well, anyways, the centralized client-side server, centralized botnet also is called, whenever you have a lot of bots, as you can see below, infected computers, laptop, desktop, doesn't really matter. It can also be a mobile phone, cell phone, whatever. But the important part is to think about, what can it be more than that? What is not on this picture? If you get it down below here, you say, but what about IoT devices? What about the smart home, the smart devices, all the things that we have, smart things, those can be infected as well, which is actually what happened during the Mirai botnet. And if you go and search up the Mirai, like M-I-R-R-A, and it basically just pops up, it's gonna talk about a certain special kind of botnet that was really difficult to clear out. But it's a long story, but it is explained different ways. You can see like the Mirai botnet explained how IoT devices almost brought brought down the internet. So basically what this is all about is just to remember that, you know, even IoT devices, and I mean basically anything that is on the internet, it could be your smartwatch, it could be your smartphone, it could be your Wi-Fi router, it could be your smart light bulb or your refrigerator, whatever thing you have that is on the internet, even a teddy bear that you can control from an app, you know, could really be infected by, potentially, I guess, any kind of malware. So when it's centralized, it basically means that you have multiple command and control, CNC command and control, often sometimes also referred to as C2 because of 2C, so command and control. I guess it's silly, but it is the way it is. So when the computer's infected, it's going to call to this particular command and control server, which there's a bot master. Now, sometimes there are more than one bot master that control things because they share the authority of the bots, you know, and the servers and stuff like that. So when the computers are infected, they're going to call home to the server and say, hey, yeah, I'm new here. All right, then. So then the command and control server will feed information to the infected computer or device or whatever thing it is. And depending on what kind of malware botnet it is, it can be fake with different kind of things. The task could be very different, all from, you know, exfiltration of data to spamming email to, you know, to spy on people, you know, different kind of things, or just maybe to perform DOS attacks or DDoS attacks. Different kind of things could be done with a botnet. So this is really just one model. The other model here is a bit different, called decentralized, which is basically just, you know, you have a bot master controlling everything during control commands, which this is just, you know, a control command being sent to the whole group of bots. Now, there are weaknesses and, you know, pros and cons, you can say, to different kind of models. If we start with this one, decentralized, it is kind of easy whenever you verify the traffic on your server to see that there is one IP address connecting to many other internal IP addresses. The bot master would need to use an external IP address, you know, because the person is probably not sitting in the building you are in. That's kind of unrealistic scenario to put up for you, but of course it could happen, I guess. But then in the end, all the other infected computers will then be contacted by an external IP address. That's easier to detect. If you look at the way over here, oh, by the way, if you could just shut off the access to that one public IP, and then boom, you're done. But if you don't have access to all the computers, let's assume these are individual computers in individual companies, right? Then it's just one IP address you have to find and verify an abnormal amount of traffic. And that can be really difficult and a time-consuming task. The centralized botnet, compared to the decentralized, is a bit more difficult because you have more than one server, right? They can be masked as web servers, you know, DNS requests. We haven't really talked about this, but you know, the way botnets hide can be very different. They can pipe through other active ports like port 80 or port 22 or DNS, you know, and hide traffic inside. It's very difficult to detect. And there are, of course, many clever, you know, people out there that knows how to do all these kind of things, but you know, it's difficult. This is why botnets are that popular, because you can infect a computer and you have centralized architecture. You have more than one server, and it kind of requires a bit more effort to detect these kind of things, because maybe you shut down one, but then you have the other ones. You never get to the real bot master. Bot master can just put up a new server, because assuming that you cut off one computer, then you cut off the other computer, then you cut off the last one, then you shut down the botnet. If the botnet cannot be controlled, then the infected machines are useless. So you kind of need to make sure you shut down all the servers, which are easier in this decentralized, because you can shut down a direct person, where here he, she, whatever, can put up just, you know, his own news server. And that, of course, have an IP address and needs to be sent to the active infected machines, though they know which are the server. I guess this kind of explains in a short way what is a botnet, and not really talked about technical detail, but I guess you should have a really good overview of what it is now. Hope you liked the video. I'm going to see you again out there, and take care.